Hello everyone and welcome back to our Python series course. Today we are diving into the world of Python programming. Especially we will be focused on a fundamental concept, functions. Now if you are new to programming or just getting started with Python, you might be wondering what exactly are functions. Well, function in Python are like building blocks that allows us to break down our code into smaller, more manageable pieces. They help us write cleaner, more organized code by encapsulating specific tasks or actions. Think of them as mini programs within our large program, each serving a specific purpose. In this video, we will explore everything you need to know about functions in Python. We will learn how to define them, how to pass arguments to them, and how they can return values. We will also discuss the importance of functions in writing efficient and reusable code. So, whether you are a beginner looking to expand your Python knowledge or a seasoned developer brushing up on the basics, the video is for you. By the end of it, you will have a solid understanding of functions in Python and how to leverage them in your own projects. Without further ado, let's jump right in and unravel the mysteries of Python functions. Python functions. What is Python functions? A Python function is a block of code that performs a specific task whenever it is called. In bigger programs where we have large amounts of code, it is advisable to create or use existing functions that make the program flow organized and neat. So it is advisable to create or use existing functions that make the program flow organized and neat. Basically, function is a block of code that performs a specific task, and whenever it is called. So in this video we will also discuss how to call the function, and it is advisable to create or use existing functions when we are working on such a big project. So you can divide your code into smaller and smaller parts using functions. There are two types of functions. The first one is built-in function and the second one is user-defined function. What is built-in function? These functions are defined and pre-coded in Python. Some examples of built-in functions are as follows. For example, minimum. This is the function is used to get the minimum values. This is the function is used to get the maximum value. This is the function which keeps the length of your elements and your variable. This is sum function. This is type function, as we already discussed in the variables and data types video. This is range, which we have discussed in the previous video, in the list video, and dictionary, list, tuple, set, and print, etc. And the second one is user-defined functions. We can create functions to perform a specific task as per our needs. Such functions are called user-defined functions. For example, So this is the syntax of user defined function. First, this is this is def keyword, and then your function name here, and then you will pass the parameters, and then here what you want to print, pass, and then code and statements. So in this way you can create user defined functions in Python. So everyone, just open your Jupyter notebook. So we will start our coding. Now create a new Python file, click on new tab, and then click on notebook. Now click on select, and we will also rename this file. So that today's topic is Python functions. So syntax of function in Python. First, you will write here def keyword, and then pass your function name, and then your parameters, and you can pass, and then code and statements in this line. So run this code. So it has executed. Create a function using a def keyword followed by a function name followed by a parenthesis and a colon. So this is colon and this is parenthesis. Any parameters and arguments should be placed within the parenthesis. Rules to naming function are similar to that of naming variables. Any statements and other code within the function should be indented. So this is indentation. Any statements and other code within the function should be indent. So this is important to remember. Now, calling a function. How we can call a function? So how can we call a function? We call a function by giving the function name followed by parenthesis, if any, in the parenthesis. For example, here we will write our example. First, we will write our def keyword and then function name, which is name, and here pass your parameter. First name and last name. And then this is indentation, 4-line space, and then your print function, and then code and statements. Hello, first name, comma, last name, and outside the def block, outside the function block, you will write here name Sam and your last name Wilson. Now we will execute this code, and here is the output. So this is the output, hello Sam Wilson. In this way you can also create another function, for example def cars car1 car2, and then print. So the car1 will Audi, and the second car name, which is BMW, and outside the definition block Audi, and you can directly call your functions, for example cars and then parenthesis. But you need to remove this parameters. This is called default arguments. So in this way you can also create another function. So move to the next topic. First we will read the definition. Create a function using the def keyword. Okay, we know that. Followed by a function name, followed by a parenthesis and a colon. Any parameters and arguments should be placed within parameters parenthesis. Rules to naming function are similar to that of naming variables. Any statements and other code within the function should be indented. So indented means 4-line space, or you can also use a tab. How to call a function? We call a function by giving the function name followed by parameters, if any, in the parentheses. For example, this is def keyword. This is def so this is keyword in Python. What is keyword? A Python keyword is a word that serves a specific function in Python. It is limited to one single function and it cannot be set as a variable name. A function can or the value of any other identifier. The purpose of the keyword is to define the syntax of the code. So it is limited to one single function and it cannot be set as a variable name. So it is important to remember. We cannot set keyword as a variable name, a function name, or the value of any other identifier. So this is called keyword in Python. There are also many keywords, for example, none, true, and as, assert, break, and so on. If, else, elif, also. The next topic is function arguments and return statement. There are four types of argument that we can provide in a function. So how many arguments? There are four types of arguments. First one is default arguments, second one is keyword arguments, and third one is variable length argument, and the last one is required argument. First, default arguments. We can provide a default value while creating a function. This way the function assumes a default value even if a value is not provided in the function call for that argument. So what is default argument? This is default argument. Fname, mname, lname, and here if you will not pass the value of first name or mid name and last name, so these are default arguments which will execute in your code. So we can provide a default value by creating a function. This way the function assumes a default value even if a value is not provided in a function call for that argument. In this code we will only pass the value of Amy, and John and Watson. This is John and this is Watson will automatically print here. So this is the output. Now go to the Jupyter notebook and we will code this code on Jupyter. The topic is function arguments and return statement. First type is default arguments. So everyone, what is this? This is def keyword, and then pass your function name, and then this is parameters. So the default value of mid name, which is John, and last name equal to Watson. Now colon and then 4-line space, which is indentation, and then print hello and your code, first name, mname, and last name. And now how to call a function? So calling a function, your function name and then parenthesis and then pass your arguments. Amy. Execute this code and hello Amy, John Watson. So guys, what is arguments and what is parameters? This is very important question. First we will write parameters and then arguments, because so everyone, this is parameter and this is argument. A parameter is a variable in a method definition. It is a placeholder that represents a value that the method expects to receive when it is called. Parameters are defined in the function signature. So parameters are defined in the function and served as input placeholders for the function. For example, in the function add a comma b, a and b are parameters. When you call this function, you will provide actual values of a and b, and those values will be used within the function. And an argument is a value that passed to a function when the function is called. It is the actual value that is supplied to the function for the corresponding parameter. Okay everyone, and arguments are the concrete values passed to a function when it is invoked. For example, if you call the function add 3, 5, so 3 and 5 are the arguments. These values are passed to the function and used as the values of a and b respectively within the function. So in summary, parameters are defined by the function or method, whereas arguments are the actual values passed to those parameters when the function or method is called. So first we will write the definition. Parameters are defined by the function or method, whereas arguments are the actual values passed to those parameters when the function or method is called. For example, def add a comma b and a plus b. Now calling a function. So we will call a function. So how to call a function? Function name and then parenthesis, and pass here the values 5, 8. So now we need to print its statements. So why it shows none here? Because you can use print inside the function, or you can also use return statement. So the output is 13, and if you can use print, so the output will also the same 13. So in this way you can use return function also. So return, and then so the second parameter, which is keyword arguments. Keyword arguments, we can provide arguments with key equal to value. This way the interpreter recognizes the arguments by the parameter name. Hence, the order in which the arguments are passed does not matter. For example, so where is our definition? Okay, this is here.